All right, 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. Obviously, you will see someone is not here. So for the second time in 13 years, the actual job of Mayor Pro Tem will have something to do tonight. So I am Rob Taylor. I am one of the board commissioners. I will be standing in for our mayor tonight and conducting the meeting. So welcome everyone for coming. It's nice to see a decently full house. Always good to have our citizens here, and we appreciate you being here. I will stay in the normal introduction to our meetings as Mayor Markland does. If we could have a moment of silence for everyone to pray for our town. Amen. All right, thank you. Our next item will be to our Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody will stand and join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll go to our first item on our agenda, which is our conflict of interest statement. Al, if you could handle that for us.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Pursuant to North Carolina general statutes and the town of Mocksville Code of Ethics policy, I ask each elected official, before you adopt the agenda, if you have any actual, potential, or perceived conflicts of interest about any matter that will come before you tonight. And if you do, please speak up and tell the board at this time. Thank you.
Anyone need to comment on that? All right, thank you, Al. We'll move on to the adoption of our agenda. And I believe, Mr. Town Manager, you did have a request. Is that correct?
That is correct. I'd like to ask the commissioners to amend the agenda, add under new business an item 9I. You have that in front of you. With a proposed motion to authorize the town manager and town attorney to negotiate and enter into an agreement with Veolia Water North America South LLC for water, wastewater facilities and systems operations.
That dealing with our environment.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
All right. Any discussion about that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to amend.
All right. Motion from Mr. John, second from Mr. Lambert. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. All right, that carries unanimously. We will add that under new business, section 9I. All right, is there any other change or anything else that needs to be dealt with as far as the agenda? All right, entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so from Mr. Jones, second from Ms. Stevenson. All in favor say aye. Any opposed say no. That carries unanimously. All right, the next portion of our agenda is our citizen comments. Not to be confused with the fact that we have a public hearing tonight. Comments can be made about the public hearing during the public hearing. So this is simply a time for citizens to step up to our podium, give us their name, their address, and talk about anything they would like to address with the board. Please make sure you understand these are your comments to us. We won't be making public comments necessarily back to you, but if you have something you want us to entertain, to consider, to think about, I'm more than happy to do that. Anyone who signed up, anyone who'd like, please, welcome.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bob Rutledge. I live on 135 Chandler Drive here in Mocksville. I have a couple concerns. Number one of them is the water quality that we've been getting in town. I don't know what's going on, but I've got a lot of algae buildup, a lot of black slime, and we've contacted the water department on several occasions, and everybody's just saying, well, there's nothing wrong with the water. But I've never seen, I mean, it builds up in the toilets, it builds up on the end of my faucets, and I have no idea how to address this. I can't have an outside firm do it because it's town water, they won't do it. I don't know what the issue is with it. It seems to get a lot worse in the summer, but they're saying it's an algae bloom in the pipes, but, I mean, I don't, you know, I've lived all over the country, I've never seen anything like this before. So, I mean, that's one thing I want to address. The other thing is, too, is that this town is growing in leaps and bounds, but the infrastructure is not. Now, I live off of Sane Road, I live in McAllister Park. It takes anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes to pull out Sane Road on 158. They're doing a widening project there, but it was a half a lane on each side of the road, and I don't even know what that's supposed to do. And I know that most of you are gonna tell me, well, it's a DOT planning thing, right? Is that what I'm gonna hear? I'd like to know whether we can get a light or something where we could regulate some of it, especially when school's gonna be starting up on the 11th. I mean, you can't even get on 158. It's traffic is crazy. Anyway, those are the two concerns that I have right at the moment.
Thank you, Mr. Rutledge. We appreciate your comments. Yes, to your 158 question, DOT does control that, but we can certainly make recommendations and we'll take that under advisement. We appreciate your comments.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else for citizen comments? All right, so we'll close the citizen comment portion. We will move to our public hearing. Mr. Easter, I believe you've got that.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you, Board. Tonight I present zoning map amendment TOM 25 I-50003 Eastwood Homes has requested the rezoning of approximately 20.6 acres of a 51.8 acre parcel from open space residential to neighborhood residential conditional. The subject property is located on Martin Luther King Jr. Road. The property is further described as Davie County Tax Parcel I-500000003. It should be noted that we're only talking the southern portion of the property. I've got a more clear slide on that. It's just the southern portion of the property from Martin Luther King Jr. south. The current zoning district is OSR and floodplain. The land use identifies this as residential and rural residential. It is not located in a watershed. The applicant is Eastwood Homes. The property owner is William Johnson Markland Jr. and William J. Markland III. The property size is 51 acres in total, but they're only requesting approximately 21 acres of the rezoning. The current land use is vacant, and the proposed land use would be residential. To the zoning of the property to the south, to the north of the property is vacant. It's OSR and floodplain. To the east of the property is residential, OSR, neighborhood residential. To the south of the property is residential and educational use. It's neighborhood residential and CI. To the west of the property is residential and it's GR, and a portion of that is floodplain. As you can see, the highlighted portion, what we're talking about, the OSR that's blotted out, that's the only portion of the property that is being considered for the rezoning that the applicant has applied for. The Mocksville land use, the 2019 land use plan identifies this area as residential. The staff recommendation, the town of Mocksville comprehensive plan identifies the portion of this property requesting rezoning as residential. The entirety of the western bordering property is currently zoned neighborhood residential. The proposed rezoning meets the comprehensive plan objectives 6 and strategy 6.1. And that development in the neighborhood residential district encourages growth and development compatible with the town's character and available infrastructure and services. Based upon the following factors, the planning staff is in favor of the proposed zoning map amendment. This is a conditional rezoning of the property. The proposed conditions that the applicant is requesting is no more than 2.91 units per acre, no more than 62 units, and single-family residential only. This time, if this board agrees with any conditions, both parties have to agree with the proposed conditions, and I would ask that this board either approve with conditions, deny, or defer. And at this time, I'd be more than happy to address any questions that should have, I would note at the at the June 12th meeting, the Mocksville Town Planning Board unanimously approved the conditional rezoning with the proposed conditions.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Easter? I do.
Yes.
So basically, looking at open space residential to neighborhood residential is mostly a density issue, is that correct?
A density issue, correct. Yeah, density and lot sizes. So open space residential is a minimum lot size. It's 20,000 square foot. Open space residential is 4 units per acre, okay? So, but the applicant is requesting only 2.91 units per acre. So in essence, it's currently zoned open space residential and would allow for, in essence, 2 units per acre, but they're requesting 2.91 with that. Also with that, the lot dimensions are a little bit smaller in neighborhood residential than they are in open space residential.
We have basically a potential plat map in our packet, is that correct?
Yes, sir. That is proposed. It's preliminary, still subject to approval for roads, going through DEQ, any other necessary other agencies that would approve the final site plan. It's really hard to condition a specific site plan until all the work and approval is. That's why the conditions were conditioned, so that way 2.91 units per acre. 62 total units in single-family dwelling only with that. If we condition the site plan, any changes facilitated with that, they would have to come back to this board. So, but in essence, it would look something like that, pending approval through NCDOT or any kind of DEQ erosion control matters with that.
Any proposed common areas?
I think with that, and I don't have a copy with me, I think there is a portion that would be common area, but,
Johnny.
I'm sorry, yeah, hold up here. I think there is a portion, I'm not sure that's not,
I can't see writing that small. So.
yeah, I don't think at that time there's any kind of common area associated with that.
Okay. Thank you, John.
You did say OSR is 2 houses per acre, correct?
Yes.
I mean, from the look of the map, it looks like most of these lots are under a 1/4 acre except for what's in the floodplain. I mean, we've got a lot that's 0.11 of an acre on here.
Well, like what I said, the proposal, it would still have to meet the minimum lot size of the preliminary. So, the density and the minimum going through the technical review, the individual lot size would still have to, before we would finalize the final plat, every lot would have to meet the requirements of open space residential, 50 foot wide, the density requirements of that. In essence, it's that, but there's no, the lot size doesn't have to be that. There's just 50 foot on the front. It's a total density and not a minimum lot size. So there is no minimum lot size. It's a density. It averages out. If you utilized all of it, it's 4 units per acre, which is a 1/4 acre, but they don't have to be that size. They just have to be at least 50 foot wide and meet the necessary setbacks.
And it looks like 2 points of ingress and egress.
That's what they're proposing. When they apply with DOT, they would determine that if they require any kind of turning lanes, and that would be all subject to the developer, whatever, once they pull the necessary permits from DOT with that. If they need to widen it, caution light, or anything like that, it would all be subject to DOT approval.
And what's directly across the street?
Yes, it would be.
A vacant lot. It's just vacant. I believe there's a church. I think it's a church right across the way, at the western portion of it.
Right.
Right straight across. I believe there's a church there.
And the CDA is right up from there. don't know if it shows up
CDA's
in
right up
aerial.
from that.
Yeah, it's around the corner.
358, I believe the 358, I believe that's the church, I believe.
And that portion of Martin Luther King empties out onto the area with the three-way stop. Correct.
I believe so.
Thank you, Mr. Easter.
Thank you.
Appreciate your information. Any questions for Mr. Easter? All right, then it's time to open the public hearing. At this time, then, we will recognize anyone who wants to speak before the board in favor of the zoning map amendment. Each speaker will get 5 minutes. Is there anyone who'd like to speak in favor of the zoning amendment? Okay, no one moving. All right, anyone who'd like to speak in opposition to the zoning amendment? Opposed to it? All right, no one as well. All right, then we will close the public hearing. And we will go to the board for any consideration. Mr. Easter, you indicated an approval, a denial, or a deferral. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, only thing I wanna say is, if we approve it, then if we think about all the houses from Nelson Creek that's not done, all the houses on Same Road that's not done, that's, well, that little back area from Sane and Millen. And then all of that congestion coming back to Martin Luther King, where you can barely get out, and Country Lane. Especially when last month we had this the guests come and complain about it, and when I looked at it, and now it's gonna be more congested. So, you're gonna build, they can build if they wanna build, but I think that's too much right now going on until, and even if we wait, then, and see how it's gonna be once those houses are built, then we can see the infrastructure,
How
it's gonna run. Like, is it gonna be overwhelming for people? Complaint. Will the citizens be happy? We need housing, but what we gotta do to, for the people? I don't know. That's just what I think. That would be hard to say yes to.
I would like to say also, a lot of people don't understand the traffic.
I'm sorry.
Martin Luther King. You can't get through at certain times, always on 158, et cetera, and you're correct. It will create a lot of confusion, in my opinion.
It seems like we're just in a complete logjam with trying to, as I think one of our speakers said earlier, we're growing. Our economic development is bringing in excellent factories, excellent tax base, but we have a lot of workforce workers who need housing, yet our infrastructure is not able to keep up with all of that.
Right.
I know that Martin Luther King, I find it to be a pretty dangerous road as it is. I don't know about the rest of
They
you.
fly up and down that road. I have complaints all
Not
the
a-
time.
There's not a road up near the church that you can drive fast.
Especially when a
Dangerous.
big truck comes our way, and they travel right smart on that road, cutting through, I can tell you that.
And if they're at any kind of time during the morning or the afternoon, they're meeting the three-way stop traffic right there in town as well.
Well, somebody can always come in and buy the property and build it with OSR. That's gonna cut it to
It's just gonna change the density, yeah.
it'll probably be 40-some houses of density, and we won't have any control over that, but I think I would take 40 over 62.
Right, so we're sort of in a position where we either need to
I'll make a
defer,
motion to
okay,
deny.
never mind, I'll shut up, go ahead.
Motion to deny.
A second.
I'm sorry, a motion to deny
That's correct.
and a second. So that's Mr. Drawn's motion to deny and Mr. Lambert's second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. All right, it's unanimously denied. Do we need to do the statement of inconsistency as well, Mr. Al?
It's a statutory requirement. It's on page 14. This is a suggested statement of inconsistency and unreasonableness. You can, of course, modify this statement any way you choose. It's merely a suggestion, but it is a requirement that you adopt reasons why you took the action that you just took.
All right. I will entertain a motion to approve the statement of inconsistency that is found on page 14. Anyone? All right. Motion by Ms. Stevenson, a second from Mr. Fry. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. All right. So that, Mr. Al, does that complete us as far as a denial and
Yes, thank you, Mr.
adoption?
Chairman.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Easter. Just for anyone else, we would love to have you stay. If you are here just for the public hearing and you do not wish to stay, it would be better for you to leave now than to leave right in the middle of our next agenda item. Does that make sense? All right. I'm not pushing anybody out the door. I just want to make sure.
You guys could do back at the nice seafood restaurant in town. That's what I mean. Mocksville is a burger capital in North Carolina.
Thank you.
All right. Those who've exited, all right, okay. The next thing we will move to is our communications from boards and commissions and agencies, and Mr. Wald, is that correct?
Yes, that's
I
correct.
see you up here and ready, so let's,
I'm ready.
we have a presentation from the Davie County Public Library Director.
All right. First of all, thank you, board members, for having me come in here and share with you about what we do at the public library. So we're gonna talk mostly just about the Mocksville branch, since that's what's near and dear in this area. So our hours of operation are Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. On Fridays from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and Sundays from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. The square footage of the building is approximately 15,600 square feet. Just before the meeting started, I passed out a statistical data sheet for you all to review. So this is current from what we just finished the fiscal year. We're pretty much in line of what we have done over the past several years. Currently, right now, we have roughly 27,447 people who have a library card currently with the Davie County Public Library system. 26,569 of those actually use the Mocksville Library, so that's about 97% of the Mocksville Library branch. Currently, for active library cards for the community members in Davie County by zip code is approximately 3,200 people. If you look at the population of Mocksville, it's roughly about 62,000. So we have about 52% of the community members using the library and have active library cards with the Davie County Public Library. Some of the things that you'll notice on the statistical trends sheet that I gave you, we are in an upward trajectory over the past several years. Just as a reminder, I have been the library director since October of 2019. And as many of you recall, shortly after I was put in the library director's position, we had COVID and we shut down for quite a long time. We worked together as a team to try to continue providing services for the community because we wanted to try to keep something available for the community members. We didn't want to shut down completely. We had to really rethink of what we were doing, how we could keep people safe. So you'll see at the fiscal year 2020 and 2021, those numbers dropped drastically. That is because of COVID, and we had to shut down, so we didn't have as many people coming into the library. But as you see, as recovery, we ended up skyrocketing on all of our numbers. We have not reached some of them to the levels of what they were, but we're really, really close to them. Some of the things that you'll also notice that's very consistent is we have the uses of the technology devices. Those remain pretty consistent. I'll talk about that in a little bit of what that consists of. We've also increased our services to the community, so we've done a lot of outreach to try to keep the people's hearts and minds in the library and provide services for the community. And if at any time you have any questions, please let me know. So one of the things I was talking about, our exemplary performance. We've been meeting our county goals for the strategic plan consistently through the year. Every year, we try to increase our goal by about 5%. We meet those goals. Sometimes for some of them, we exceed those goals. We report solid statistics every year to the state library. That's how we get some of our funding in order to operate. And then our services and resources for Homeschoolers Association. So we provide services not just in the library, but also outside for e-resources. So we have e-resources like NC Kids, tutor.com, and we also provide, if there's students that want to access the library but don't want to get a library card, they can actually use their lunch ID number in order to access materials online. It doesn't cost anything. They're already paying for the services. So it's just another opportunity that we provide for students. As far as homeschoolers are concerned, they still have to apply for a lunch card or like a student ID. But once they do that, they can still use library services once they sign up with the library. We have extensive community partnerships. These are a list of some of them with the towns, the Chamber of Commerce, Cognition, Farmington Community Center, Smart Start, DC Schools. Those partnerships are still growing. We also do a lot of outreach for our community. So we have Paul who goes out to our nursing centers. He will also deliver to some people who just physically can't come to the library. And we have extensive partnerships with NC Public Libraries to expand service offerings. And that just means that we work with other libraries in the state to provide services. So if any of you have been recently, we have something called Star Lab that is leased out from the state library. We use it for free. We just book it. That we go and pick it up. We bring it into the library, set it up. We have it for about a week, and it has all sorts of educational stuff on the STAR systems and other really fun materials. We also provide a lot of tech support for our community. We provide instruction and access of PC laptops, mobile devices, and other technologies. Rachel is actually our technical services librarian who does a lot of the technical support. She does one-on-one sessions for people who need more extensive help with some of their devices. But we also have staff that if they come in and somebody wants to just say print something from their phone, we have staff that's well-trained that can help them do that as well. So we all pitch in to help with technology support. We also just recently provide hotspots and Chromebooks for people to check out. Because those items are expensive, we do require that anybody who checks those out has a full library card, so you do have to provide a social security number, and you have to have a good standing library card for 6 months. That is strictly just because if those items come up missing, we have to have some way of recouping those funds in order to replace the devices. Those devices cost altogether, the whole package is roughly about $400. We have had a very good turnaround with those items coming back in. We have had people that have, we have had a couple people that held on to them, forgot about them. You know, they had it for a little while. They got the little letter in the mail saying, hey, you have this checked out. We're going to take it out of your taxes. They bring it in. You know, once that's done, they're good. They're in good standing order. We do not collect fines and fees for late books. The only thing that we collect fees for is if an item comes back damaged or if it's lost. And we also provide Wi-Fi access that's free for the public. That is open. That is up and running as long as our doors are open to the public. Our history room, we have Marcia Phillips, who runs the library, or the history room. She's very knowledgeable on everything Davie County. She will help you with any questions you have that's related to Davie County history, or if you have any questions about genealogy research, or if you just want to do some type of research based on online research for Davie County. She can help with any of those. One of the things she really likes to highlight is that a few years ago we had a documentary team come from France that wanted to do research, and she was right in the middle of that, helping them, getting them all the resources that we had in order to help them with their research. We also have online resources for digital newspapers, obituaries. You can go online, you can check it. You can check out obituaries, you can check out Davie County history. We sell maps of Davie County history. We also have a lot of books on Davie County history that we sell as well. But if you have any questions, just reach out to Marcia Phillips. She'll help you with any questions that you have. We also provide meeting spaces for the public. This is available to anybody who wants to use the rooms. The only room that we actually charge for is our multi-purpose room. That's about $30 for every 3 hours, or for the first 3 hours, and $10 for each additional hour. We do serve that on a first come, first serve. So if somebody comes in and it's already booked, unfortunately we can't fulfill that. But we do try to offer other options and like available dates and things like that. And we try to accommodate people so we're not just telling them no and they don't have some type of way of trying to get something that they need. We also have meeting rooms that we don't charge anything for. So we have the conference room, we also have a study room, and we have a tutorial room with a computer. So if those don't cost anything, if you just need to come in and need a quiet space to work, just come in. We reserve that for 3 hours, and that's also a first come, first serve. And then our youth and adult services. So Rachel, as I said before, Rachel is our adult services librarian, and Karen Martin is our youth services librarian. If any of you have gone to any of their programs, they're well attended. Our Wednesdays are our busiest days from 10 to 12 p.m. We have approximately 60 kids that come into the library just to interact with story time and craft. And that's not counting the parents. We usually have about 100, 200 people come in on Wednesdays, so we're really busy on Wednesdays. Very well attended. We have really good programmings for kids and for adults as well. Rachel does a really popular Crafternoon on Fridays. Those are well attended. She's built a really established community base that comes in regularly and uses the Crafternoon. We also provide summer reading programs in order to keep kids reading during the summer, so that way during that time that they're out of school, they're not forgetting the things that they've learned in school. Of course, we also have accessible resources online. Those are 24 hours a day. And then our whole entire goal is to promote early literacy and lifelong learning. And then student support. We have NC Cardinal as our library interface. What that means is that if you have a library card that's with the NC Cardinal system, if you need something that we don't have in our library system, but it's across the state and somebody's part of that, and that library is part of the Cardinal system, we can get that shipped to us for free. It doesn't cost the patron anything to have that sent to them, and they will send it to us so they can check it out in our library here, and vice versa. If we have books that somebody needs in another area of the state, we ship it to them as well. But the other thing with the NC Cardinal system is if you're out on vacation and you're in another area of the state and you want to go to the library card, you can check that book out. You can come back, you can return it to us, and we'll ship it back. We also provide resources online, tutor.com. That's a homework helper. The other thing that we provide with that tutor.com is we have SAT and ACT test preps. So high school students that are trying to study and go into college, they can go and practice the exams online and get prepared in order to do well on those tests. And then the other thing that we offer is library page positions for high school students. So what that is the position just requires the student to come in, work about 13 hours a week. They'll shelve books, they'll help staff with any projects that they have, but it's an incentive to try to get high school students involved with the community and get them prepared for the workforce. And supporting the community, we have volunteer opportunities all the time. If anybody wants to come in and help with the library, just fill out a library card or the volunteer application, and we'll just fit you in where you want to try to work, or we'll try to fit you in with what's best fits your needs. We also have annual book sales every year. That's just to try to generate some money to help support the library system. Our event prizes, we have those every year for our summer reading program, just to provide an extra incentive to get people reading. And then, of course, our community outreach that I was speaking about earlier with Paul. Yes, you had a question? Okay, sorry. Paul provides community outreach for our community members and the housing and the adult housings. And then we also have our youth services, who goes out to the schools and does story time for the schools as well, for like preschool and kindergartens, just to get them interested in reading and learning. And then at this time, do I have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Walden. We appreciate it,
sir.
very informative. I don't think everybody realizes what all the library does. We appreciate that information. Thank you. Moving on to our next communication, Ms. Gaither. I think you have our surplus property report for this first 6 months.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Board. If you please take a look at the surplus report in your packet. These are the items that were sold or discarded in the 6-month period listed. And if anyone has any questions.
That was a lot more.
Good,
Thank you very much.
you're very welcome.
Thank you, Raina.
You're welcome.
Alright. Moving on from our communications to our consent agenda. Have all the commissioners had an opportunity to look at the consent agenda? Anything that needs to be altered or changed with that? I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda or to adopt it.
So moved.
All right, second. Moved Mr. Fry's motion, Mr. Lambert second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. All right, that carries unanimously. All right, that moves us on to item 8, which is old business, which we have none of. Moving us on to item 9, to new business. And our first item under new business is to consider amending the North Elevated Tank Capital Project Ordinance. Mr. Chuck, will be taking care of that? Good to see you, Mr. Willis.
Thank you, glad to be here. With your permission, I'll kind of address items A and B kind of at the same time since they go together.
Yes, sir.
Item A is considering an amendment to the capital project ordinance for the elevated storage tank. That project is being funded by a direct appropriation from the legislature. And if you will recall, we've been talking about a couple of projects north of I-40 for some time now. One of them is replacement of the South Point Business Park wastewater pump station, which has just been completed. And the other is construction of an elevated storage tank, a 500,000 gallon tank at the intersection of 601 and Cana Road. And that tank is under construction, although it's just in a foundation stage right now, so you don't see a whole lot when you go up there, but they're actively working on that. So since we have completed construction of the the wastewater pump station and are working on the tank, this is an appropriate time for us to shift some additional funds that we had available for the wastewater pump station towards the tank project, and also to supplement the cost of the tank project with an additional grant that was received as part of the state reserve direct appropriation from the 2023 legislative action. Good news here is that being able to use both of those funds allows us to complete construction of the wastewater pump station and the tank, and some additional improvements, which we'll cover in item B, for all that area of improvement for water and Sewer using strictly grant funds or state direct appropriations. So those two big projects have been looming on the horizon in the capital improvement fund for a while, capital improvement plan for a while now. And instead of having to pay for them with rate increases or cap reserves, we're able to pay for those with direct appropriations from state through grant funding. So that's a very good thing for us to do. So the first item, A, is to sort of reallocate some of the funds and adopt an amended grant project ordinance, which pays for the tank project, which is also includes the wastewater pump station project, utilizing the state physical recovery fund that we received through Davie County and supplementing it with the state reserve direct appropriation grant for a total of $4.11 million. So that is an adoption of an amended project ordinance. Now, if I'm allowed to talk about item B.
Sure.
Item B then utilizes the remainder of that state reserve direct appropriation grant to make improvements to the booster pump station that services that tank. That wasn't something that we had planned to pay for with grant funds, but since we have grant funds available, let's use them, and rather than pay for them out of cap reserves. So we're going to go into that pump station and do some controls upgrades and replace some of the pumping equipment that's been in there running continuously since that pump station was constructed when the South Point Business Park began. So those are both things that need to be done that were on the capital improvement plan, and we're getting ready to pay for all of that stuff with direct appropriation or grant money from the state. So those are those two items. It's a little bit confusing, and Lynn and I have to juggle all these numbers around to keep them straight, and unfortunately, we'll probably wind up having to come back to you again at the end of these projects to do a final adjusting change order in order to satisfy the paperwork requirements of the state agency that handles all this money. So,
Thank you, sir.
yes,
We enjoy hearing grant funding instead of tax increases.
that's one of my favorite terms.
So under item A first, we'll entertain a motion to officially amend the North Elevated Tank Capital Project Ordinance, amending the revenues from the State Reserve Direct Appropriated Grant and the SFRF State Physical Recovery Fund via Davie County and contingency expenses.
So moved.
I saved somebody having to say all that. All right, so a motion from Mr. Draw and a second from Ms. Stevenson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. All right, that carries unanimously. And then moving down to section B, a motion to adopt the grant project ordinance for Madison Road Pump Station renovations in the amount of $209,728.
So moved.
All right, moved from Mr. Lambert, seconded from Mr. Drawn. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed say no. All right, so both of those carry. Thank you, Mr. Willis. We appreciate that. Good information. All right, item C, considering the Mocksville Zoning Board of Adjustment reappointments to 3-year terms, and this will be Ms. Lynn.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. It's already been 3 years. In July of '22, we amended and approved an ordinance when you were appointed the Zoning Board of Adjustment. So now the 3 years has been up, and we have to reappoint you all in case there's any type of meeting. So I just need some action to reappoint all of y'all.
In case we have to become the Board of Adjustments again.
That's correct.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve those appointments? From Ms. Stevenson, motion, second from Mr. Fry. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. All right, that carries unanimously. Thank you, Lynn. And then we'll jump down to consider adopting a budget amendment number 1 for the general fund.
Yes, I know it's early for a budget amendment,
We just had the, I'm just kidding.
but the streetscape construction downtown, in the prior year, I do want to explain this, that in the prior year, we had $100,000 budgeted. $76,500 went back into fund balance because we had not went out for construction, the bid of construction. We were still in the design phase. And so now that the design is complete, the construction has started, I have to do a budget amendment to cover the construction, the curb ramp, and the engineer costs. So I'm needing a budget amendment for $131,000.
All right. Entertain a motion to adopt that budget amendment.
So moved.
All right, from Mr. John, a motion, second from Mr. Fry. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. All right, that carries unanimously. Thank you, Lynn. All right, now we're to the fee schedule and Ms. Raina Gaither again. Thank you, ma'am.
Once again, Mayor Pro Tem and Board. So periodically, it is necessary to review and update our existing fee schedule. In this instance, it reflects the broader scope of enforcement activities now being carried out. Where mowing was the main focus, we are now where mowing was the primary focus, we're now addressing a wider range of code enforcement violations. And these updates are designed to cover the actual costs incurred when we engage contractors to abate these violations. So I respectfully request for your approval of the proposed amendments.
So that mainly is taking into consideration the very expensive equipment that we have to use
Yes, sir.
to abate those nuisances. All right,
What page is that on?
69 and 70, and I think it carries through 72 as well. Any questions for Ms. Gaither?
Mr. Taylor, I would just like to thank Raina for her good work on this, and Lynn as well. And we're also begun a process of, we have gone out to other potential vendors to make sure that they're aware of the opportunities as we abate these nuisances, and we've already got 2 or 3 others on a rotation that we will call on, ready to make those changes.
We've got to keep cleaning up the areas that are
Unfortunately.
and necessary. All right, I'll consider or entertain a motion to adopt that fee schedule.
So moved.
Motion from Mr. Jones, second from Mr. Lambert. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. All right, that carries unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Gaither.
Thank you.
All right. Item B, consider a memorandum of understanding and amendment adding addendum regarding compliance with GS 143-805 and the interlocal agreement between the town of Mocksville and Davie County. Mr. Al.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. You remember early in the year, I talked to you about new reporting requirements adopted by the legislature about the use of the town's computers. And the statute said, send a report to the director of the North Carolina Information Technology Department. So I contacted that department and said, what do you want? And they said, just send us a letter. And Lynn did that, Ms. Trivett, and things were going along fine. And then the people in Raleigh said, well, you get support from the county to run your computers, so we would like you to amend your agreements with the county, your interlocal agreements by which the county helps us run our computer systems, so they will help us with the reporting and monitoring that the state requires. And what you have before you is an amendment referencing GS 143-805 and amending the county's duties to help us monitor our system and make those reports, which now have to be made every August 1st to the North Carolina Department of Information Technology. So the recommendation is to adopt the amendment to the interlocal agreement and adopt a memorandum of understanding about how this will all work between the county and the town. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
As if we could come up with it.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Motion from Mr. Lambert, second from Mr. Fry. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. And that carries unanimously. Thank you for explaining that. All right, well, moving on to item G, consider adopting a resolution to approve a local water supply plan, and that is Mr. Manager.
Thank you, sir. If you would look at page 87 in your agenda packet, you have a recommended resolution to approve the local water supply plan. This is something that takes place every year where the town submits to the Division of Water Resources with the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality their water supply plan. You also have a letter on page 88 from the supervisor of the Division of Water Resources stating that we have met the requirements per general statutes, but for the remaining item to be compliant, and that is adopting a resolution by the local board. acknowledging the local water supply plan.
We definitely want to be in compliance.
That is correct. So happy to answer any other questions. Otherwise, this is the statutory action that the board will need to take, that we can let DEQ know that they can close the file for 2024.
Entertain a motion to adopt that resolution. Thank you, Ms. Stevenson.
Second.
A second from Mr. Drawn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. All right, that carries unanimously. We'll stay with you, Mr. Rollins. Consider naming rights agreement between the town of Mocksville and SBA Home North Carolina LLC.
Thank you. I want to thank Mr. Benshaw for his work. We've been working with the legal folks in Lithuania and our local folks at SBA Home. We feel that we have an agreement that they're good with, that we hope you will be good with, to consummate the commitment where SBA Home, over 5 installments, will pay for half of the cost of the pickleball courts. They also would have naming rights. And that would just comply with our signed ordinance on those pickleball courts. Today, and the weather reminded me that June and early July was much like this. Therefore, Cardinal Courts is trying to make up for lost time. I don't want to put Chris on the spot, but I'm thinking he told me it's going to be mid-September before Cardinal Courts could get to us to begin that process for the courts in Rich Park. Happy to entertain questions that you may have.
The citizen response has been great. They're totally excited. How long's our build-out process, Mr. Chris? Or do we have any idea?
8 to 10 weeks, depending on the weather.
Oh, that's not bad. It's a lot better than I was expecting. All right. So we just need a motion to approve the agreement between the town of Mocksville and SBA Home.
That's correct.
All right, so move from Mr. Drawn, second from Ms. Stevenson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. All right, that carries unanimously. And now we're going to turn to our add-on, which is the talking about authorizing the town manager and town attorney to negotiate and enter into an agreement with, how do we say this word?
I'm going to say Veolia.
Veolia. Veolia Water North America South LLC for water, wastewater facilities and system operations, taking over for EnviroLink.
That is correct.
All right.
Without going into great detail beyond what I've already communicated to you all, it's in the town's best interest to terminate its agreement with EnviroLink. I'm asking you to allow the town attorney and I to enter into an agreement with Veolia North America. They come in well-regarded, and we need a change.
We absolutely do. All right. Second. All right, motion from Mr. Fry to authorize the town manager and town attorney to negotiate for us on that. Seconded by Mr. Lambert. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Carries unanimously, and their credentials were impeccable.
Yes.
That you attached. Thank you. All right, that clears up our new business in item 9. We'll move on to item 10, our communications from town staff. We'll start with Mr. Benshoff. Do you have anything for us?
No, I do not. I've talked enough already. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Rollins.
I don't have anything to add. I am available after class for any questions.
And we appreciate all your hard work and the staff as well. We'll move on to item 11, communications from the mayor. He will not be communicating tonight because he's not here. I do not have anything, I think, to add. Communications from myself, I would just say thank you to the staff. Everyone does an amazing job. Every board meeting, I'm reminded of what an amazing job you do because everything seems to flow well and you keep us well informed, and we appreciate that. Ms. Stevenson, anything from you?
The same, and I want to thank Mr. Lee. He always keeps me informed. So thank you for the staff.
Mr. Lambert?
Same, ditto. Thank you to the team. Everybody's doing great.
Mr. Drawn?
I'm good.
All right, Mr.
I'm good.
All right, so that clears up all of our communications, and that will finish our meeting. And I will entertain we have no closed session, is that correct?
That's correct.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Move from Mr. John, second from Ms. Stevenson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. There are no opposed. Carries unanimously. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate